Well, who knew soccer could be so interesting, huh? A massive international controversy over President Trump's call to FIFA? Let's talk about it. Here we go.
Let's go.
But I promise, it's not going to be the only thing we talk about because there's only so much soccer I can deal with. But man, is there outrage. The president reached out to FIFA over a USA player getting a red card. And the other thing, which is amazing, is that as I was thinking about the 4th of July, all these Democrats who spent the day lecturing America. You know, America's a terrible place. Trump's awful. Give you an example. Gavin Newsom put out an 8-minute video. We'll talk about all this with you today, but I'm glad you're here, and I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July, Independence Day weekend with your family. And for me, it was great. It was fun. I got to do some really cool stuff. I was with Will Kane on Friday, and I was on America's Newsroom live from Liberty State Park on Saturday, which was amazing with the Statue of Liberty in the background. And the vice president buzzed the set, which was really, really cool. And just watching all the ships in New York Harbor, it was a really spectacular day, and I was truly blessed to be part of it. No doubt about that. And I love this country. I'm not saying the country's perfect. I don't think anyone's saying the country's perfect. But can we go one freaking day and just have some fun? That's it. Just one day. Just one day. America is tired. America's sick and tired of talking politics. They really are. I mean, we're not, obviously. We're special. We enjoy it. But for the most part, the country is exhausted. And one day a year, we celebrate our country with fireworks and with cookouts and our friends and our family. And the whole idea is just supposed to be like, we live in the greatest country on earth. Not saying we're perfect, but we're pretty damn good. And we're just going to have some fun and spend time with our friends and family. Not that hard of an ask. Not that hard of an ask at all. But we live in a time now where Democrats have to spend the day whining about Trump and whining about all of the racist roots of America. And then they have to use the word flaws over and over again. And they think that they're connecting with people. And this is the Democrat Party's problem writ large. Ready? It's this. The Democrat Party in America is so out of touch with the average person. Because the average person in America on 4th of July wanted to just have a hot dog and a beer. That was it. Or maybe a burger and a beer, whatever. They didn't want to listen to an 8-minute lecture. I got a buddy of mine who's, I would say he's pretty political, but he's certainly not a conservative and he's not a Trump fan. But he texted me on Saturday and he said, can't these idiots, meaning the Democrats, just shut the F up and just say, like, happy birthday, America. Go have fun. Nobody needs an effing lecture. Those were his words. Nobody needs an effing lecture from you, Gavin Newsom. Nobody needs a lecture from you, Josh Shapiro. Nobody needs it. But at this moment right now, if you want to run for president of the United States in 2028 as a Democrat, you have to do two things. The first thing you have to do is you have to completely and utterly say this country was founded on racist, patriarchal, blah, 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 blah. And the second thing you got to do is you got to trash Trump as a king and a tyrant, worse than King George. And you got to do those things now. And if you don't do those things, you're not a serious contender for the Democrat nomination. Because if you would have just come out and said, it's happy birthday, America. We're living the dream. Love this country. Go have fun with your family. You would have got killed by Democrat Party activists who would say, I can't believe you're not mentioning that this country was founded by slave owners. I can't believe you didn't mention that President Trump thinks he's a king. I can't believe you didn't mention that women didn't have the right to vote. It said all men are created equal. It didn't say all women and they, them, and zer. I can't believe you're not saying these things. That's what their base would respond with. That's what their base would turn around and say. It's crazy to me. It really is. It's crazy to me, but that's the moment. I'll put up a graphic for you. All right. So I didn't want to play the audio of him because I literally, I can't stand him. I can't. But this is Gavin Newsom's X post. Okay. And I'm putting this up without audio. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's the least I can do for you. But I just want to point out to you, it's an 8-minute lecture. 8-minute lecture on the 4th of July. From the governor of California who wants to run for president of the United States of America. He's got two flags in the background, and he goes on and on about how Trump is a tyrant and blah, blah, blah. In America, we're living under a fascist dictator and blah, 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 and all this stuff. 250 years ago, this country was founded on a radical idea that government answers to the people. Today, that idea is under attack by a man who embodies the very tyranny our founders rejected. Let's honor the promise of America by defending our democracy. First of all, we're a constitutional republic if you can keep it. Secondly, shut up and just go and lighten up, Francis, and enjoy the freaking day, man. Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. I'm not going to play you his little tirade that he posted, but I'll put a graphic up of the tweet. This is what he posted on the 4th of July. He's got to run for president. 250 years ago, in this very same room, a band of patriots declared independence from a tyrant king and set ourselves on the path of self-determination. And he goes on to talk about their work isn't finished, and in the face of chaos, cruelty, and corruption, the responsibility to protect our freedoms, our fundamental freedoms, and stand up to tyranny now falls to each of us. Happy Independence Day, Pennsylvania. And within this montage, he's got people fighting with ICE, and he's got people protesting. He's got January 6th in there, the high holy day of the left. It's lighten up, man. It's the 4th of July. Talk about Pennsylvania's great ice cream. Talk about the great dairy farms. Talk about the great burgers and cheesesteaks you can get. Talk about and just shut the hell up for one day. One freaking day of just not whining. They can't help themselves. Because if you're going to run for president, the 4th of July is not a happy day for you. Independence Day is not a happy day because you have to acknowledge that there are people in the party who believe that this country was founded in an awful, awful manner. Why do they say that? Because their ultimate goal, as I've told you many times over the years, is to get rid of the Declaration of Independence, rip up the Constitution. It is the guardrails that contain the crazy, and then essentially start a new country, a Democrat socialist country. That's what they want. I'll play you some audio just to prove that point to you because I think it's important to say. Here is, let's see if I can find this now. Yes. All right. Here is the History of the USA Woke Edition, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, frontrunner for the 2028 Democrat nomination for President of the United States of America. Here she is.
Black Americans really created democracy in this country.
Right. That's exactly right.
How they literally made something from nothing.
This 4th of July, I say celebrate a Black woman that you know, because whether it's an invention that she made or whether it's the very democracy that still hangs by a thread right now, there is a Black woman to thank.
Somalis have always seen themselves as a fabric of this nation.
That immigrants from all over the world, Somalia, India, wherever they're from, Latin America, Africa, that immigrants have built this country.
You cannot talk about any achievement that the city of Boston has had in safety, jobs, and economic development, in education, without talking about the Somali community.
So everything with them has to be an agenda, even on the 4th of July. That's the way they have to be. And then don't even get me started on listening to how we don't have equal rights for women from a woman who's worth more money than I can even dream of. Alicia Keys is a multi hundreds of millions of dollars in air. I don't even know what the term is, but you get the point. Like Alicia Keys is not struggling. She's not digging a ditch. She's not, you see this heat wave we just had. People were still working outside. Not everybody was cozied up in the air conditioning. Cops and firefighters and people working on the road and guys outside working on those utility lines and everything like that, sweating their asses off, doing their best to put food on the table for their family. And a lot of those people are also women working really, really hard. But I got to get lectured by a woman who's worth more money than all those people combined could ever earn about how women don't have equal rights in this country.
Did you know that it's been 100 years since the Equal Rights Amendment was first introduced? And now, still, women don't have an explicit guarantee to equal rights under the U.S. Constitution. Can you believe that? I couldn't even believe that was real. I mean, women are not asking for special rights, just equal rights. Let's turn outrage into authorship. If it's the 250th celebration of the country, isn't it time to update some things? What rights or guarantees do you feel all women should have in America? It's a good question. I'm not here to speak for you. I just want to pass you the mic. So have your say at peoplesbillofrights250.org. Not red, not blue, just you.
Catchy.
Sending you
Really
big love.
catchy. Yeah. How about I have an equal right to your money? Like, how about you send me some of your money? I mean, you always want the government to take my money and redistribute it. How about you, Alicia Keys, decide that I have an equal right to the fortune that you've amassed with your talent in this country, in America?
Quick Google search, Rich says between $120 and $150 million is her net worth.
I mean, how do you get by on that?
It's inflation. It's basically nothing.
Jared, that's minimum wage.
She's stressed about that next meal. The dollar menu went up, and she is baroque.
Do you know how hard it is for Alicia Keys when she goes into Costco and she's thinking, like, do I really need the brand name paper towels?
Here's the thing. I think you're joking, but I think she still uses her mom's Costco card. She's still on the family plan. She doesn't have that $80 a year. It's just not. She can't.
$80 a year, my man. You got to get the executive membership. It's worth it.
I don't have. We don't go to Costco. I look like a Costco guy. I'm trying to hold on to my youth. So
Not me. I'm all about Costco. Although I went in there the other day and they already have Halloween decorations out, which I think is an outrage. It's an outrage.
Alicia Keys'
I'm
mom.
just saying.
She's mad too. It's tough.
I'd like to know what equal rights women don't have in this country. When you're able to amass a fortune like that of $120 to $150 million and you're a woman, what right do you not have? You have the right to pursue your dream. You have the right to amass a fortune. There are a lot of women out there singing that don't make Alicia Keys money. I got news for you. There's a lot of dudes out there singing that don't make Alicia Keys money. There's a lot of people out there, they got to sing for their next meal, as it said. They got to dance for their next meal. They're not making Alicia Keys money. What rights do women not have? They can vote. I'm not saying they should be able to. I'm kidding. I'm just saying. Not saying the 17th Amendment should be repealed. That's the one on senators. What's the one on the broads? That was the 19th Amendment, right? Yeah.
Let's say we should repeal it. We should just talk about it.
We just have a conversation. That's all.
It's ridiculous. You're going to get us all in trouble on that. This is terrible. There's actually people out there that want to talk about doing that, and you're going to get us lumped into it. We're going to show up on some list.
I'm just kidding. Not all women. Just a lot of them. No, stop it. Stop it. I would just like to take away the right to vote by Mama Zeoli. That's all. Just because I think it would make her stop texting me every 5 minutes about politics. And then we'd be fine. We'd be good.
You think she'd check out of the politics?
Yeah. And then I wouldn't have to get the text messages. Rich, you did a great job on Fox News this morning, baby, but I don't understand why... shameless plug. Here we go. It's like 8 in the first 10 minutes. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Talking soccer, talking red cards.
I think, man, if I want a soccer expert, Richard Zeoli is my guy. That's who I bring on every time.
And they sent me the topic last night. I was like, you sure you want me?
You're like, what is soccer? Search.
What is a red card?
Patrick, I need your help.
I literally did. I called him into the room. I was like, buddy, when that player got the red card.
Patrick, was that a good call or a bad call? Do you think
What did you think of that, pal? Can you help that out here? Help me do a little show prep for America's Newsroom? I will get into that, but can I just say that on the Halloween decorations, I'm not big on passing new laws. I'm really not. But I think there should be a law against that. That's crazy. Like, you got to wait till, I think, at least September, Labor Day.
A friend of ours, she's very into Halloween, and that's their rule. Labor Day is the day she can start decorating. Seems like a fair. Also,
yeah, I mean, I personally think it's too early, but that should be the minimum date.
But I had to run an errand on Saturday. Everything was open. I'm like, why is everything open on the 4th of July?
Everything was open, yeah.
Does somebody like Williams, Sonoma, somebody needs a $900 blender right now? They can't wait till tomorrow. They can't Amazon it. No, they need a now. Everything is open. Like, why? What? It's a Saturday, too. Like, what do we...
No, you because they have to have a 4th of July sale, Jared. How is she going to get a mattress? You want to get a mattress on July 5th or 6th? No, sir. Not on my watch.
Except for our fine sponsors that take the holidays just for weeks after. They're great. Their sales are great. Their President's Day that runs for a month. Other than them.
They're wonderful, but otherwise.
Others.
And speaking of our wonderful sponsors, this is the big story of the hour. Brought to you by Dr. Mike Veneria, Veneria Dental. Go see him today for your perfect smile. He was closed on Independence Day, celebrating the 4th of July. But he may have had a dental emergency because he does help people with that. And that Mike's the kind of guy that he would help somebody on the 4th of July without question if they needed it. VeneriaDental.com. Now, let's understand, and I'll get into the red card thing, but it's not that big of a freaking deal. It really isn't. It's one of those stories that if USA wins tonight, it'll keep going on. If USA doesn't, the story will be over, but I'll get into it. The reason why all these Democrats on Independence Day have to whine about Trump and lecture us about America and prove how out of touch they are with the average everyday man and woman out there is because there are socialists who are now in charge of the party. This is it. This is it. This is the new leadership of the Democrat National Party. It's the socialists. Kyle Clark, News 9 Colorado reporter, asking a woman named Milat Quiros, who's running for Congress, and she's a Democrat Socialist of America member, to be taking over the party. They'd be in charge now. Here's what she said.
If Democrats take the House and you win, you would be part of a group of Democratic Socialists in the House who similarly could extract concessions or could hold up the entire Democratic agenda. What is your thought process about how that would play out?
That's the goal. The goal is to build out a coalition of members that are committed to these ideas and these policies.
That's the goal. That's the goal. Take over the party. Like a parasitic invasion or the movie The Thing, where the alien essentially assumes that's what they've done. And are the mainstream Democrats rejecting this? No, of course they're not rejecting this. They're embracing this because they know if they don't, then they're going down. That's it. They got to embrace these crazies. They let them in their house. This is what happens, right? It's like squatters almost. But I associate it more with your crazy uncle. Comes over and you used to just kind of keep him in the corner. And then he kept bringing more of the crazies, more of his crazy friends until eventually now taking over the whole place. And you go, how do we get to this? Well, you let him in. They let the socialists in. Now the socialists are running the show. So now they got to capitulate. So here's Gavin Newsom, shapeshifter. He's attempting to grapple with the question of establishment Democrats versus Democrat Socialists of America and doing a very awkward job of it.
Well, then what do you make of, some Democrats who are saying, more the establishment type, maybe the more corporate Democrat wing, saying that, these DSA candidates, these progressives are a threat to the Democratic Party or like to the American way of life. Yeah, they've just kind of got out over their skis with that. What do you make of just kind of that outlandish response?
And I reject it, but let me also tell you why. I don't just reject it from sort of a situational framework. Forgive me, you're talking to someone who, forgive me, the established, here I am looking, here, people are like, oh, you're talking about the establishment, this Newsom guy, I can't believe Jack's, I get all that, but I also get all that. I've lived this. I come from San Francisco. I want to remind folks, the right wing doesn't need to be reminded, some folks watching me. I ran against the Green Party. I was in a runoff for mayor of San Francisco against a remarkably talented young man who he talked in many of the terms that are very familiar to me, Democratic Socialists, but he was a member of the Green Party. After he lost for mayor, he was Ralph Nader's vice presidential nominee, which is just interesting. So I understand this politics. Progressives in San Francisco going back decades, the progressive they're very familiar. I govern in that environment. And of course, I'm in, California, and there's aspects of that represented here at the state level. So this is all familiar and it's very healthy. I don't think it's unhealthy. So I completely reject this notion. And look, I'm for addition, not subtraction. The Democratic Party needs to be in the addition business.
See, let me translate that for you. All that bullshit you just heard right there. Sorry, earmuffs. Here's what it is. I want to run for president, and I know that the socialists are going to decide the candidate. I want to be one of those people that they choose. So I'm going to toe this line. I'm not going to say they're crazy, and I'm not going to reject them. I'm not going to push back on these people. I'm going to say we need a big tent, blah, 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 blah. He's not the only one doing this, by the way. They're all doing this too. Josh Shapiro's doing this little dance. Josh Shapiro goes on a show, and he gets asked a question about all the crazy things that the Democrats want to do. And they're asking, like, abolishing prisons, open borders, ending deportations. This is what the Democrat Socialists of America want. Are you cool with this, Josh? Remember, Josh Shapiro is another guy who wants to pretend like he's a mainstream Democrat, toeing the party line, right? Here we go.
But the Supreme Court has been incredibly infuriating at times. There are a number of people in the Democratic Party, including an institutionalist named Joe Biden I once worked for, who he's like a neighbor, as we know.
He was known as our third senator.
He was known. He might call himself that too.
He thought he lived in Pennsylvania.
For reforms to the Supreme Court, to expansion of the court, to term limits on the court. What do you think about that?
I think we need to be open to all of that and more. I think we need to consider more amendments to our Constitution.
All right. That was a different clip, but that's okay, because that was the same vein of that, which is packing the court is now what you have to say if you want to run for president. You have to say that you want to turn the Supreme Court into a mini legislature. And that is now the mainstream party position. You have to now say you're in favor of that. Moderate Democrat, doesn't matter. You want to get to be in the final few. You want to have a chance at 2028, you better be on board with court packing. Think about that. Because they don't like the idea that the crazy stuff they can't get through Congress just dies. They want to be able to get it through the Supreme Court. They want to be able to pack it so that they always win. That's what they want. And I've told you before, the ultimate goal of the Democrat Party, kill the filibuster, make Puerto Rico a state, control the Senate, just ram through their nominees for the Supreme Court or reject whatever Republican nominees there are, and then wind up having a mini Congress that is the court that will be an activist Supreme Court. We kind of forget now, but there was a time not too long ago when the Supreme Court was made up of activist judges who were there creating laws from the bench. And that's what they want. That's what they want to go back to. And they will not rest until we get there. So at one point that was an extreme position. Now it's the mainstream position of the party. But these other positions of the party, cut 10.
Daria-Liza Avila Chevalier, she was a PhD candidate at Columbia and organizer. She called for the abolition of prisons, open borders, ended deportations, even people convicted of violent crimes. She attended a pro-Palestinian rally on October 8th, 2023, a rally that reportedly featured some real anti-Semitic rhetoric justifying the attack. How do you feel as a Democrat about someone with those views being in the United States Congress?
Look, her district voted for her. But I have profound differences from that particular candidate, based on the citations that you read there. And she's not someone, who seemingly I would agree with on many things, or that we share similar values. She ran on the Democratic ticket, I guess, as a socialist. Her voters in that district determined that she was the one they wanted representing her.
But what does that tell you about your party?
I think what our party has to go through that will be very healthy, and something we've not really done since the 1992 election cycle, is to have a battle over what we believe in.
Oh, my God. John Fetterman's out there rejecting this craziness, and he can barely even stay in the Democrat Party because he's rejecting this craziness. Josh Shapiro, who wants to pretend like he's the moderate candidate, is now openly saying we have to have a conversation about these ideas, and we have to let these people in because we're a Big Tent. Translation: please don't count me out in New Hampshire. Don't count me out in South Carolina. I'll let the crazies in too. They're all doing it. They're all doing it. Hey, big announcement. Ready? Here we go. Drum roll, please. The day you've been waiting for, and the question I keep getting: Rich, when are you going to be back at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey for your next live show? August 7th. August 7th, we're going to be together at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey for our first official live show. I will be basically through my recovery at that point, almost to the 12-week mark, so I can even give you a hug. Gentle hug, gentle. Got to go a little easy on these on the ribs still. You know what I mean? But like a gentle hug. Don't squeeze me too hard. I'm delicate. But we'll be together August 7th. But in the meantime, I want you to make your July midweek stay at my happy place, the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. You will love it there. You book a July midweek stay, they're going to give you money back to spend at the resort in the form of resort credits. How does it work? You stay 3 nights, you get $60 a night in resort credits. You stay 5 nights, you get $70 a night. Stay 7 nights and receive $80 a night in resort credits. And you can use those credits on food and beverages at Hemingway's restaurant and bar, the outdoor pool bar, the beach concession, or the gift shop. And you can even use those for a whale watching boat cruise with your family. All you got to do is go to grandhotelcapemay.com, grandhotelcapemay.com, and make your reservation. But you got to book direct with them. Now, you're going to love the outdoor heated, beautiful, gigantic pool. And you're going to love the pool bar. And you're going to love the food at Hemingway's restaurant. And if the weather's bad or it's too hot or whatever, they have an indoor heated saltwater pool that is absolutely big and beautiful, and you will love it. So there's always something to do versus being stuck inside at a shore house. Like, what are you going to do if the heat's really bad and you're down the shore in a shore house? You're going to watch TV. That's it. The Grand Hotel, the kids can still splash around, have fun. They can go to the arcade. You can walk right over to the restaurant, have dinner, breakfast, lunch, whatever you want, and use your resort credits. GrandHotelCapeMay.com, and mark your calendar, August 7th, Friday night, 3 to 7 p.m., by the way, special 4-hour edition of the show. Evil Jared, you don't have to worry about that one because DeSantis and Justin are going to be taking over that day. So look at you. Get like a free day.
And I had a little DeSantis moment today. I played the wrong clip for you. Very DeSantis.
Yeah. Well, DeSantis moment, you'd be paid. Not only you wouldn't have the clip, A. B, you would have played the wrong one. C, you wouldn't have even known it was happening. And D, you wouldn't have paid attention when I went to you.
What I will say in my defense is you're like, here is Governor Josh Shapiro capitulating to the left. I was like, well, I don't like, that's all these clips. I don't know what you like. You got to be way more specific, bud.
Can you narrow that down for me, please?
I got one.
I'm just saying. Well, that'll be fun, though, August 7th. So please join us for that and mark your calendar. Friday, August 7th, Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. All right, so that's where they are with the politics of all this stuff. And so you understand then when I put up this graphic for you of why Americans are exhausted with politics. For the most part, they really, really are. They're just tired of it. Americans say they're sick of politics taking over their lives with some exceptions. They see it everywhere. They see politics everywhere they go. So then when you turn around and you go, all right, why then would all these Democrats on the 4th of July choose to be so dour, so down, and so freaking lectury? The answer lies in the socialists. Because the socialists hate this country. They do. They hate this country. Look, I respect people with different political differences, and I'm not going to accuse them of hating the country just because they disagree with me. But these socialists, you have to realize they hate America. They believe that the capitalist system is evil. They believe America is evil. They believe it was built on evil principles and they want to destroy it. I'm not going to play you the whole thing, but Zohran Mamdani, the mayor of New York, did an entire 4th of July lecture about how awful of a country America is. And this is just a little bit about what he said.
As we mark 250 years, what do we see? We see a city of contradictions within a nation of contradictions. We see the wealthiest country in the history of the world, one where children go to sleep hungry while the world's first trillionaire hungers for more. We see monopolies that dominate every industry and oligarchs who buy elections. We see masked agents terrorizing our streets, eating food cooked by our undocumented neighbors before spiriting them away in unmarked vans.
First they eat their food? Is that really how that works? Do the ICE agents go in and help themselves to the food in the kitchen and then cart them off? Is that how? I missed that point. I didn't realize that. Then we have a warrant for your arrest and for your food. We want that leftover paella.
Rich, I love the casting call of the people behind him, right? Like this just... All right,
Can you describe it for those who may not be watching on YouTube? YouTube.com/@RichZeoli show for when you get a moment to watch. But if you are just listening, Jared, describe it for us if you would.
First of all, let me start with, I always hate the seated at desk with people standing around. I always think that's just such a weird visual. But
yeah,
it is. All right, we need white guy. Okay, we got a white guy. I should have a white girl. Okay, got a white girl. Check. Well, we should have a Muslim. Okay, I got one. Well, we should probably have a Sikh Muslim and a Sharia Muslim. Okay. So we got two Muslim. You can't tell he's a Muslim guy. Make sure they're women because they got the headscarf. Great. We got two of them. Okay. You got a black guy? No. Black woman? Perfect. Asian? Check. Filipino? Check. Like Puerto Rican guy? Check. Some other I assume India, Pakistan. Doesn't matter. It is a casting call of visual communications that look at how equal we are with these people.
You know what your problem is, Jared? You don't...
Just one. Okay.
You, my friend, don't like crayons. Okay? So I think what you need to do, Jared, is you need to move to Mars. Okay? That's your problem, buddy. You just don't like crayons. Joy Reid summed it up perfectly, and she's speaking directly to you. Okay?
So I don't understand America. As a person whose people came here on purpose, I look at this country as the opportunity cost of not uniting and not saying we the best and we are like a crayon box with all the colors. Why aren't we cool with that? These MAGA people want to destroy the United. They hate America because America's the crayon box. If you don't like the crayon box, go to Mars where there are no crayons.
It's because, Joy, of the disease of white supremacy. And we could have had everything.
Ironically enough, the crayon that I despise the most is the white crayon because I feel like it has no real purpose. And it's the irony in the whole thing.
It doesn't. But I quickly learned my skin was not white with crayons. It was some other color. Ridiculous. Rich, I know you probably, I don't mean to steal any thunder. I love where they were like,
oh no, please.
America, we are crayons. We are every single color except for that one color. You get out of here.
Yeah.
Why's my color not welcome here? You just said it was a crayon box. We're all welcome. You're going to get out of here. Go to Mars.
It's you white people with your supremacy. We're going to take you out of the crayon box. You're not needed anyway. You're the one that is always sharp, the white crayon.
No one uses it.
And now we're sending you to Mars.
Joy Reid, part of what gets me about her is I'm like, I don't know why you were famous. I know you're on TV. I don't know why you were famous. I don't know why you're still famous. Like, why is she on, like, not that I've ever heard of, the left hook or whatever this is, but like, why is she still part of a conversation, Rich?
Yeah, I know. I know. And I'm only playing this because, again, it just goes to the thesis of the show to understand why these Democrats spent so much time trashing America on the 4th of July and lecturing America on the 4th of July when America's exhausted and tired of politics. It's because they have to placate to this stuff. That's why they have to do it.
The disease of white supremacy. And we could have had everything.
Is there possibly a vaccine for that too? I don't know. We should ask Anthony Fauci. Ro Khanna praised communist Zoran Mamdani's speech. Now, Ro Khanna for a while was pretending as if he was a mainstream Democrat, moderate, center left maybe a little bit, but rational, reasonable. And there was a time he was trashing the socialists, but now suddenly he's all on board with this. So Mamdani trashes America. He's got his complete rainbow cast behind him as he's seated at a gigantic desk. And Ro Khanna, because he also has presidential ambitions, has to praise it.
So I know you campaigned with Mayor Mamdani when he was running. I'm sure you probably watched that speech today. What did you think of it, and what do you think about? Give us your sense of the contrast he was drawing there.
I'm glad he did it. It's showing that the same country that produced Donald Trump produced Zohran Mamdani. And Zohran, as you know, is a student of history. So it was significant he did that with George Washington's desk, with New York being the first capital of this country. People often don't remember that. Zohran knows that. And he was giving a powerful message of this linking back to our founding ideals, that the Declaration says that we have equality for every person, and that this is a nation really that is based on that creed and has welcomed immigrants. And he's claiming that vision as true patriotism and inspiring. And it's going to resonate across the country.
Now, this is what you have to do. If you're a Democrat today, that's what you have to do. Otherwise, you have no future in the party. Bottom line, you have no future. Wes Moore, governor of Maryland, ran as a mainstream Democrat. He was going to be a moderate. He's a moderate, blah, 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 blah. But he also has ambition. And so because he has ambition, he gets asked the question, your party's spouting a bunch of crazy stuff. And are you cool with it, Wes Moore? And this is what he said.
Some within your party who are saying things like we should be ashamed of America. The government should seize the means of production, that we maybe in some way deserved 9/11. What do you do with those factions of your party?
Well, first I say, what the representative was saying is powerful and correct in the idea that making sure that we have an economy that works for everybody is something that is powerful. A lot of the stuff that I'm hearing about the labels and all this kind of stuff, I'm going to be very honest with you, it's a very Washington game, because for people inside of communities that I'm in every single day, people just want candidates that actually working and getting things done.
Translation, please don't count me out either, socialist whack job kooks. Hey, let me tell you about Dr. Mike Veneria, my buddy, my friend, and the undisputed master of dental implants. Dr. Mike is going to give you the beautiful smile of your dreams. How do I know? Because Dr. Mike gave Bridget a beautiful smile upgrade. All these sponsors to this wonderful program, they're wonderful people, but I use them too. Like Dr. Mike's my dentist. We stay at the Grand Hotel. I bought a minivan from Tri-County. Emmons remodeled my bathroom. They're all friends, and I would never recommend them unless I thought they were the absolute best at what they do. Dr. Mike's the absolute best. But don't take my word for it. Other dentists recommend him. When there's really complex procedures, when there's really complex stuff that has to be dealt with, they send their patients to Dr. Mike Veneria. They've been doing that for over 12 years. He's a great guy. He's a great friend. And he is the master of dental implants and complex dental procedures. So if you need a smile upgrade, you got to see Dr. Mike. Just go to veneriadental.com. VANARIA, veneriadental.com. He's got 2 locations to serve you, and he's going to give you a beautiful, beautiful smile. What I would love for you to do is I would love for you to reach out to him, his caring team, the wonderful people in the office, all the people who are going to take great care of you and make sure that you have that smile you can be really proud of, okay? veneriadental.com, Dr. Mike Veneria. The problem right now, too, is that we're looking at a situation where we've got a lot of outrage over everything. So that brings us to the red card controversy with the World Cup. Now, this player who received a red card should not have gotten the red card. Okay, he did nothing intentionally wrong, and it was an outrage. And President Trump confirmed today that he reached out to FIFA. But you have to understand, at this moment right now, the outrage is growing. Europe is furious after this American player, Belgium, got his reprieve. But FIFA suspended red card bans in the past for Ronaldo, who's a player, and others before this. UEFA, that's the European Soccer Foundation, and Belgium erupted in fury, but FIFA already applied the same provision to Ronaldo in a 2025 World Cup qualifier, meaning that they said, you're getting a red card, but we're not going to count it now during the World Cup. We're going to count it later on down the road. But because Donald Trump is involved in this, there's outrage. He spoke to the head of FIFA and asked him to review the call. That's what happened. And if you watch the game Saturday night or whenever the game was on July 1st, or whatever that day was, I forget it was, Thursday night or Wednesday night, when that happened, everybody across the aisle, including my liberal in-laws, all said that was ridiculous that this guy got a red card, meaning that he can't play in the next game. The United States is playing Belgium tonight. There were people who've now since deleted their tweets who were saying that the red card was an outrage. They've now deleted those tweets because Donald Trump has spoken up, and they have to be on the opposite side of Trump. So maybe, just like Mark Kelly was wearing a Mexican soccer jersey yesterday, maybe some of these Democrats will don the jersey of a foreign country. I don't know. Maybe they will after this. Maybe they'll root for Belgium tonight. Who the hell knows? Nothing would surprise me with these people once Trump gets involved. And you could have a debate whether or not a president should get involved on behalf of his nation if he feels like one of the players of his nation was treated unfairly or not. But it doesn't affect the fact that the FIFA reversal happened, and it's not the first time that they've said, we'll let a player play after they've gotten a red card, which is the worst thing you could possibly get in soccer, because they did it to this Ronaldo player. So there's precedent for it. But here's what the president said today at the White House when he was discussing this and what he did or didn't do.
Win the game, they can be very proud. If they would win the game with a player missing, it would have been a different feeling. You can't do that. And I'm very glad. All I did was ask for a review. I didn't say you have to do this. This man is a smart, tough man, Gianni Infantino. He's a smart, tough man. And his stock has gone through the roof because the job he's done has been great. And I feel we have to have all the best players on the field. You can't take the best players. Yeah, please, the best.
So that's what the president said. He said, I didn't ask them to do anything. I said, review it. And they reviewed it and they determined that the red card was not okay. It was, this guy didn't deserve this. But because we live in a time of absolute, utter division, the president making that phone call has now turned into an international controversy, with Democrats posting on social media, guys like Adam Kinzinger posting on social media, CNN, MS Now, all these other people. But here's the rub in all this. Before Trump said anything, there was actually an article on CNN, Justice for Bolijan. They wanted his red card reversed. New York Times had a columnist who wrote the similar thing. So did the Washington Post. That's right. All these liberal entities were all writing about how the red card was unfair. He didn't mean to step on the guy's ankle, the other player. It was an accident. It was two guys colliding at this moment, and it happened. But the president of the United States of America speaks to the head of FIFA and says, can you review the call? And FIFA has a provision, it's called Section 27, where they can either reverse it, they can punt on it, they can say you'll take your red card later on down the road, like they did for this other player, Ronaldo, or they can stick with it. And they reviewed it and they determined that the red card was wrong, because it was. I watched it myself and I said a red card is ridiculous here. And look, I'm not obviously the biggest sports guy in the world, and soccer is not my game. In fact, I find it to be ludicrously boring in every aspect, but my son's totally into it. And what's more important to me than anything is bonding with my kids and my family. So I watch it with Patrick, and tonight we're going to watch the game. You know, my Reagan and Claire have no interest in this, but Bridget and Patrick love it. It's why we went to the World Cup. It's why we're going to watch the game tonight. We're going to root for USA. I saw it happen, and I said, this guy does not deserve this. Now, is it wrong for a president to reach out to FIFA on behalf of his nation? I don't particularly think so. I really don't. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, if I'm the prime minister of Germany and I call up FIFA because one of my players was treated wrong, I don't think anyone would care. But it's Trump, so everything he does, there has to be a lightning reaction in the opposite direction so that there's unbridled outrage. Unbridled outrage. Like, let's assume Trump did pressure them a little bit. He's saying he didn't. He said, please review it. And they did. But let's assume Trump was like, yeah, you know what? First of all, I don't know what he could do at this point. What could he do? Shut the whole thing down? He's not going to do that. Kick teams out? He's not going to do that. He's not going to do anything. There's nothing he can really do at this moment. We're in the middle of this. It's almost over, thank God. And there's really not much he can do, but let's assume he strong-armed the guy. Let's assume he bullied the guy at FIFA. Was the red card, was it an appropriate punishment for this player? No. And everybody said it wasn't. Everybody said it was an absolute outrage that this guy got a red card and would not be able to play tonight versus Belgium. Everybody said it at the time. Up and down the line, celebrities, Travis Kelce and all these other people, Jason Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, all these other people were tweeting about it saying, this is wrong. This is totally wrong. And I'm telling you, these other lefty publications were also saying the same thing. This is not right. This guy should not have a red card and be banned from the game. Trump calls up the guy from FIFA, and then suddenly now this is the greatest scandal in sports history since the Chicago Black Sox rigged the World Series. And it's like, no, it's not. I mean, the guy's allowed to play. Great. Now they're going to play on a level playing field. But if it's Trump, you have to take the opposite approach. So you're going to see more and more Democrats now are going to have to come out and condemn this, even though they should be happy that the guy gets to play, that a great injustice was reversed, and they should be happy that America now will have a full team to face Belgium tonight in the World Cup. The other reality is that not only did you see a lot of people on the left, they were not happy about celebrating the 4th of July and Independence Day. They're also not rooting for America in the World Cup. They're rooting for other countries and other teams because it's bad to root for your own country right now because Trump's president. I know what I'm talking about here because I'm around people of the left, some of them who I am related to, and they by marriage, and they are just not like rah-rah USA right now. Because Trump's president. I mean, if Biden were president or Kamala Harris, God help us, it'd be a different story. The 4th of July would be celebrated very differently. The World Cup, they'd be rooting for USA. But they have to have the opposite reaction. That's why all the outrage. Because you may be saying to yourself, I don't understand this. So what? So he calls the head of FIFA. He asks him to review it. The guy reviews it. They reverse their decision, or they say he'll be suspended for another game down the road, but not this game, not the World Cup game. So freaking cares if they've already done it. There's precedent for it. Why are we making such a big deal out of this? Because we live in an age of outrage. We live in the age of outrage, and it isn't as unprecedented as the Europeans say, but it's also not as this. Like Adam Kinzinger posting on X something like, now Trump has corrupted soccer too. And if you go to the Drudge Report, which has become one of the most absolutely anti-Trump sites out there, Trump card, World Cup cheats for USA, FIFA furor, Belgium appeal fails, the Don threatens ref, game turns political, showdown in Seattle. If you watched the game and you saw the guy collide with the other soccer player and you saw him touch the ankle, you realize that it was not intentional. He didn't try to hurt the man, therefore getting issued a red card. And the only reason why it happened is because they used slow motion to slow it down. And you're not supposed to do that in the review. So the review was wrong in the first place. They banned this guy from playing, and it was an outrage. But from a sports perspective, it was an outrage. Now it's become a political outrage. The president dared ask them to review it. I mean, I look at some of these headlines and it just makes you laugh, but it's a reminder of the era we're in right now. And the only thing that can save us are naked women getting on airplanes. But we can't even have that in America. We can't even have that because that's not allowed in this country. We can't have nice things. This fitness guru tried to get on an airplane naked in the heat, and she was banned. Fitness influencer banned from a flight for attempting to board naked amid record-breaking heat wave. Now, I believe that this woman was treated very unfairly. It's very hot out. She's in shape. She can handle it. Not everybody looks good naked. We learned that from Seinfeld many years ago. There's good naked and there's bad naked. This is good naked. And yet the airplane would not have her on the flight. And I just said, Jared, this is what could have united all of us if Lufthansa would have just simply allowed her to come on the plane, in her birthday suit.
I'm not a slippery slope guy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you let fitness models on, then you let just finish people on. Aren't we just eventually? Isn't the Southwest flight going to follow suit? Aren't we in a bad spot if we remove that safeguard?
Yeah, in other words, you're saying that the safeguard for all of us is that we say no naked at all, right?
Yeah, that's you got to hold the line. The other thing about this woman is I'm judging. Who knows? Pretty sure you and I could probably find pictures of what she wanted to board the airplane looking like on various websites with her. She doesn't. I don't know that she has an OnlyFans, but she looks like the kind of person that would have an OnlyFans. So I don't think we're missing. Like, I think we could go find that. I think this is, but you got to have the. Let's say topless. We could all agree topless is fine.
Yeah. Well, I think two things. Number one, it would have to be a kid-free flight, so it can't be a flight to Disney. That's number one. And number two, it would. You're
gonna have to explain silicone to Reagan at some point. You might as well explain silicone to him.
That's a good point.
The way to Disney. Yeah. Sorry, and the second part.
No, I was going to say the second part is she'd have to sit in first class because the people in steerage should not be allowed to witness that. Am I right?
There'd be a lot of people.
The unwashed masses in coach.
Yeah, that's not a center seat kind of a look that she's got going for her there.
What the F she said? She's a reality TV personality. Does that surprise you?
Of course she is. Wait, I don't even think she probably knows what coach is. She probably has to Google it. No.
She has 641,000 virtual fans.
Ooh.
Airing out her grievances from the airport, the siren sporting a sporty two-piece made complete with a pair of black biker shorts and a V-cut sports bra claimed the Lufthansa staffer looked at me and said, "You can't board like that. You're not wearing anything. You're naked." And so she wasn't actually naked. She was just wearing skimpy clothes. She wasn't naked. That's the other part of the story I probably should clarify. Unappreciative of the employee's lure and incensed, Elisa argued that her casual couture was befitting of the nearly 90-degree weather outside, but her protest fell on deaf ears. Now, she told me that I wasn't wearing normal clothes and I had to put something over it now. You go to the side now and you can only board the plane once you've got something on. But she was, in fact, wearing clothes. She was wearing, like I said, a two-piece and a pair of black biker shorts and a V-cut sports bra. So
I
she
think,
wasn't
Rich,
naked. Yeah.
If you're viewing us on YouTube, it's this left picture is the video of her complaining about not being able to get on the plane. That's what she was wearing, which is midriff biker shorts.
Yeah. So we're not going to be united around that either, Jared, because she wasn't naked. You know what I mean? So
maybe she should have tried it. She could have convinced him.
August 7th, we won't be naked at the Grand Hotel, but we will be wearing at least nice casual beach clothes at the Grand Hotel of Cape May. Join us August 7th. Mark your calendar down for that. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'd love for you to join us at my happy place, the Grand Hotel, Friday, August 7th, 3 to 7 p.m. for our next and first live show of the year. Okay. So please do that. Join us for that. Mark your calendar. It's going to be a really, really great time. So we know Americans are sick of talking politics. We know that. We know that we've had it. One of the dangerous trends that I worry about is Americans are also spending less time socializing. We're spending less time socializing, and I have a theory about this. I think the reason why it's not significant. It's about anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes less time socializing today than years ago, is that I think that since COVID, a lot of people started using their phones and getting online and getting on screens. And so socializing is not as popular of a thing. There's also a younger generation that honestly, just socializing is not their thing. Like meeting up and going to places is not a thing. So I talked to my friend Kate about this. She's Dana Perino's assistant. TikTok Kate. She does this thing and she's been on a whole bunch of national shows talking about this. She does a thing with her church group where all these youths come together, go to church, and they have pizza. And she said one of the reasons why she started this was because people in her age group were not socializing. They weren't getting together. They weren't doing things. So they wanted to kind of build this community. And they're doing it, and they're going out there and they're spending time together, which I think is a wonderful thing. But I'll tell you something. There is no doubt about it, from the perspective of the apps, the phone, the big tech, the less human-to-human contact you have, the more money they make. I'm not saying that we need to regulate this. In fact, I don't want regulation. I'm not looking for that. But that's ultimately why the machines keep winning. Now, if the Democrats win, they will have regulations on social media. They will have regulations on all these things. Jennifer Newsom hosted Hillary Clinton. I'm sorry to play this for you, but I made the point the other day that a big part of what these socialists want and what the Democrat Party today wants is control and regulation over everything. See, I don't think they have a problem with the fact that young people are not socializing. I think what they would like to see young people being indoctrinated on their devices and on their screens if they can control the information. If they can control what they're seeing online, I think they would be very happy to live in that world. You can't have political debates anymore because there's no room for that. So the division is so strong that you can't sit around and just talk politics anymore. If relationships have been destroyed and all these other things. If the Democrats had their way, they would have basically like the Ministry of Truth, and they would control what's said online. Young people would be like harvesting in front of machines all day, watching information that is state approved and only state approved, by the way. Here's what Hillary Clinton said regarding that fact.
I cannot bear to see what's happening in my country right now and the gradual erosion of our rights, the disregard of the rule of law.
And I think it's taken a number of years for us to really understand what this technology is doing to us. And now we're on the brink of it getting even worse.
We need dramatic changes in our laws because, in my view, if it's illegal in the real world, it needs to be illegal online.
So you can't murder somebody online? What does that even mean? She's so full of crap. Listen, let me tell you let me translate this for you, okay? What that means is, under the guise of protecting the children, protecting women, protecting young women, whatever it is, we want to be able to regulate what is said on social media. We want to have age verification so we know your identity at all times. And we want to make sure that you're not getting misinformation and disinformation. So we need to have a Ministry of Truth. And then that will help with the indoctrination. To kind of come full circle on all this, the reason why the socialists are winning is because they have completely taken over the education system. So young people today, they don't know communism the way we knew communism. They don't understand its failures. They don't understand the problems with the government, the state, regulating every aspect of the economy and controlling the means of production. They were taught by college professors and even in primary education, these are good ideas. Socialism's good. Communism's good. It just hasn't been tried right. The second thing is they go online and they find other people who are regurgitating this stuff for them. If people like Hillary Clinton and other Democrats had their way, the entire internet would be nothing more than a place of indoctrination. And they don't want they actually really don't want Americans socializing with each other, because then they might get into a debate. They can control a debate online. They can regulate that. Think about it. During COVID, when people used to argue about the virus, what would they do? They'd put community notes up. They would blacklist people. They would deplatform them. They would do all that. If you have a debate around the campfire, they can't do that. I think that they are seizing upon the fact that there's a generation out there that is not socializing as much, and they want to push us more and more towards our screens, but only if they can regulate the content and only if they can make sure that the information is state approved. And if there's a debate, they can shut it down. That's what they're looking to do. Mark my words on that. They don't consider debate healthy. And if you socialize, you may just disagree. And then maybe you might change your mind. Can't have that. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, tell your friends, tell your enemies. We'll find out more on the red card controversy. But in the meantime, go USA. I'll be watching soccer, as boring as it is, and cheering on my team. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for listening.
Oh, crayons.
It's because, Joy, of the disease of white supremacy.
Let's go.